Hello viewers and welcome to another episode of Brave Namibia, where we celebrate both ordinary and extraordinary Namibians. In our first clip today, Tanya Bowser caught up with local artist Hage Mukwendje, who recently sold one of his works for an astounding $500,000.
Tell me about the painting that you sold recently now.
Yeah.
So
I was invited by Reach Africa. Reach Africa was hosting an energy conference in Windhoek last month. The duration of this painting was 30 minutes altogether. So, this painting, what I painted was a woman with a clay pot, a woman crafting a clay pot, and I painted it upside down. So, I think what fascinated, because the comments I got was like, how I started this painting, it was upside down, and then I was painting, rotating the canvas. First of all, people didn't know what was going on, and they were very curious until how I completed it when I flip it up, and then they could see the woman with a clay pot. And I never had the plan I didn't know it's going to be auctioned. And then the Minister of Mines and Energy, Tom Arendo, he really appreciates art. He grabbed the mic. He was not a guest speaker on that moment. Like he just stood up and grabbed the mic, and he called me up on the stage to tell a story to say about this painting was the inspiration. And I told him, no, the inspiration, where it's coming from. And then he started bidding it. And I was like, wow, it's happening. And then I think it's, can you imagine, I even forgot. It started, I think, the price was 50,000. From there, that's when I was like, wow, it's not even halfway, but I was already like, wow, it's crazy. And then I see it going up 400,000. And then they stacked at 450, and then one moment I had was 500,000. Then they closed it up, and that was crazy. And I was saying, like, from that evening, it was a very good evening, but I didn't believe anything. I couldn't believe it. It was really crazy, like, wow, because that was also for me the highest I sold the painting. And from there, the next day I got a lot of calls from the medias and so on, radio stations, like, no, we had you sold the painting for 450, what, many stories, like different stories. And my thinking was just on the last evening, so I couldn't take in their calls, I couldn't take, because I didn't know what to say and so on. Until after a week, I had a meeting with Total Energy that bought the painting, and they told me so many good things that no, they just wanted to clarify that we love the painting from our heart and we are going to take it. It's not that maybe we drank a lot of wine and we love the painting. Yeah. We really love it. We love the story and so on. So we're going to take the painting. And then that's when I took it in for the framing and so on. And I was like, wow, it's happened. From there, that's when I started telling people, even my own people, that it just happened. I sold the painting. Because I could I was getting messages and so on, but I didn't know what to say and so on.
Where did you do your first live painting? When was that?
It was, the first one was in an orchestra in Germany, in Dresden. I'm from the northern part of Namibia. I was born and raised there, Kalongo. It's close to the border of Angola and Namibia. Yes, that's where I grew up.
Okay, you went to school there?
I went to school there. That's where everything began.
How did it begin?
So after completed my high school, I moved to Windhoek, like everybody does. We all moved to Windhoek because that's where all opportunities are. And I moved to Windhoek, and one of my cousins introduced me to the College of the Art. When she was visiting always the north, she know I could draw on the ground. I like to draw. Childhood memory were always like when after school, we are looking after kettles, when we are doing all the craft, creating toys like molting kettles with it's a clay from the river bed to make cars made out of wire. There I made a little bit of some monies to go to school with and so on, which is my aunt. Helped me to get in the she took me to the school, and then I got accepted. And then I started, that's where it started. And
when was that?
That was 2009. Yeah, and I did a 3-year course, which is a diploma in visual art, fine art. Yeah, that's where it started. And after that, I started in 2012. I was selected to participate in a world event, Young Artists, with other 2 artists. We were selected to represent Namibia in the world event for young artists all over the world. And it was in Nottingham, England. And after that, I got exposed to art residencies and all these art stipends for artists and so on, fellowships. And then as I came back to Namibia, there was a curator that was helping me with applying residencies program. And then the first residency I attended was in a small village in the middle of Finland, King. And then it exposed me to another residency in Sweden that was actually paid. It was a stipend. And then from Sweden, I went to the Netherlands. And my last subject at school, because you have to follow one path, and I chose paintings, where I was painting faces of people. And at that time I was painting on brown papers with pastels and charcoals. I'm painting people's emotions. I'm telling a story actually, not just painting, but I'm telling a story. And why in newspapers? Newspaper is that in the last subject that I chose, you have to fund yourself with the materials. And sometimes was also a little bit of a struggle to get the material. So I decided to go mixed medium. And it's also that I struggled working with colors, because I was inspired during my college time. I was inspired by realism artists. Like I wanted to do realistic art where you see this painting and then you see like something that you can combine to the photography. That was my goal. But then the challenge was the colors. Because I could paint realistic. I was doing realistic, but I was doing it in not as the way it looks. So I had to do it in different colors. For example, just black and white, or just one color. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then I decided to go black and white, mixed media. It was easy for me because I work with contrast.
You keep on saying that realistic art was a challenge and mixing black as a challenge. That's because you're actually colorblind.
Yeah. How I see, being colorblind doesn't mean I don't see colors. But people say, like, you don't see colors, you don't see colors. I see colors, but how I see them is that I cannot name what color is that. I don't know what color is that. Like, there's a lot of color things in my eyes, but I can't tell the names that this is color. Every time I go to Neopaint or to a stationery where I buy my materials, they have to indicate it for me with codes. And then I indicate, I write them. So when I come, sometimes I don't need to write them because I use them. For me, colors, how I use them is like a contrast. I have those dark colors. Because if you look at most of my paintings, a lot of people are saying that I'm using a lot of blue, and it was blue and red. That's what they say. That's the reaction I get from the audience. And for me, those two colors, for me, it's dark colors. And that's how I use them on the dark side. So it's just a contrast from light to dark. And that's how I depict my works. And
Next, we head south, where Monique Adams spoke to 29-year-old Filemon Titus, originally from Onganjera, but who now calls Keetmanshoop his home.
Now we get to speak to Filemon Titus, who is a 29-year-old who moved from the north at Onganjera to Keetmanshoop in 2017 and started tailoring in 2019. He started tailoring because he had a passion for it, and he came to the south because his sister was working here at the time and needed a new challenge. Now he's an employee at a tailoring workshop at Komsai Community Market.
My name is Filemon. My surname is Titus. I came here at Keetmanshoop 2017. 2018 I was doing the solar panel where I was working at APS. Then I came here, I started to do tailoring at 2019 where I was working at Hectares Hoarding. Then I came here, I was busy working with my sister, where I'm still around now, at Unique Clothes at Keetmanshoop. Now I'm busy with doing everything here. I can do uniform, I can reduce the trouser like the way we see me doing here. This trouser is like this size 32. I have to repeat, then I put it on size 30. I like this job. That's why even my custom now there's like where the job I do, Now I'm still working here at Sayid. If you want to support, you can come here at Sayid at Unit 7.1, where I'm still working here. I like this soap.
So Filemon, who taught you how to make tailoring?
Yeah, I was just busy with checking. My sister was doing these things. Then I see, yes, it's a good job for me. I didn't school this job. Just my talent. When I do this one, just like someone who knows, maybe get school for this one, but it's just my talent.
And for how long have you been doing tailoring now?
Now just I started 2019, but I was not like know something, but 2020 until now, yeah, now it will be better.
Okay.
I can do any design. You come with me, I can challenge any design.
So do you also hope to have your own shop one day in the future?
Yeah, I want to have my shop. That's why I'm struggling now to do something, so that at least I can open my shop.
Okay. And how is the client base here in Keetmanshoop? The people support a lot.
Yeah, but people they can support because most of people here they know my job.
So you get a lot of customers.
I have a lot of customers here. That's why I try to open my shop.
So why did you move from the north